Begin Within Ministries proudly presents Sofa Sundays with your hosts, Reverend Dr. Michelle Izuku and Reverend Jeannie Sovereigns. Sundays at 11 a.m. Arizona time and rebroadcasts on Mondays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Come join us on the sofa every Sunday morning. Sofa Sundays with Michelle and Jeannie. Learn more at www.beginwithinministries.com. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.
Well, good morning. Good morning. This is a really super special guest for me today. This is my husband,
Hello.
Mr. Peter Izubu. A lot of you already know who this handsome man is. But today he's my guest, so I'm super excited. We are filming or recording or live streaming. I don't know why I couldn't say that this morning. Live from, because it you? He's distracting. He's distracting. No, we are live streaming from the home of Reverend Dr. Michelle Whittington's practice here at Unleash Your Life Studios. And if you aren't here in person, you could be if you're in Arizona. We are at 7220 North 16th Street in Phoenix. It is building 1A. You can see our logo on the door. We'd love to have you in person because we do love to hug everybody and say good morning and see you face to face. But if you can't be here, we get that. And we're so happy we can live stream and still be connected that way. So I forgot the bell thing to ring in for the prayer. Is there anything else that I usually say in the morning? I'm used to Jeannie's banter back and forth.
Okay, well,
but we have our coffee.
Well, we have our coffee.
Take a quick mug shot for the.
There you go.
Everybody. Yay!
So, my banter is.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be here. We've talked about the possibility of me coming on, having a Sunday morning session with you, and yeah, I'm excited to be here. So.
Me too. This is awesome. He was off today, so I grabbed him.
Right.
I said, "Hey." So it's very exciting. Awesome. So I'm going to pray us in, and then we're going to get started. Let's all take a deep breath together, coming into this space, into this present moment, releasing with the out breath anything that's come before, anything you're thinking about afterwards that you have to do. Just give yourself this moment and this time to just be here now, present, recognizing there is one power, one life, one thing, and that is God. It is the love, the joy, the peace. It is the energy that is all. And each one of us is that energy manifesting uniquely as each one of us here. We are all that love, that joy, that peace. We are all that God is in our own special, unique way. And so from my truth, from the knowing of my truth of who and whose I am, I speak my word for this time together, for this moment, for this sharing of ideas, the laughter, the joy, especially since joy is our theme this whole month. I know that as we allow ourselves to be present, as we allow ourselves to be connected and to feel that connection between us, I know we receive what is ours to receive from our time together. We share openly, authentically from love, because that's what we are. And so I let it go and know and trust that it's already perfectly done and divinely guided. And together we say, and so it is. Yay. Well, this morning we're continuing the month's theme of joy. And today we have our little card, and your card says, in this moment, I am filled with joy. And as we know, this moment is all there is. So I'm not saying this moment and not later or not, at before. this moment is all there is. And as we look at this, that's what we're saying. In this moment, I'm filled with joy, because that's what we are. We are joy. We are that love. We are everything inside of us. So the reading today is in your Anton book. Those of you here present have a book that you can read from, which is awesome. And if you don't, you can order these books off of the affiliated New Thought Network off of Amazon. And it's called New Thoughts for Today. And we always find something that goes with our theme here. So that's why we read from it. So this is called I Am Joy. And it was written by Reverend Susan Carol Dexter of the Interfaith and Religious Science in New Berlin, Wisconsin. And she starts by
what page is that on?
100. 100.
100, yeah.
I Am Joy.
Can we all read it?
Sure.
Which part do we read?
Well, let me read the quote. The quote at the top is from Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, page 292, and it says, there is no limitation, poverty, want, or lack, nor lack. I stand in the midst of eternal opportunity, which is forever presenting me with the evidence of its full expression. I am joy, peace, and happiness. I am the spirit of joy within me.
So the first paragraph of the reading, it is easy to find a reason for joy. It could be a change, a new family member, graduating, a wedding, or even winning a championship. A change of season brings a temperature change, but also affects our level of feel-good endorphins. What happens when we don't feel joy? We become lifeless and weary. You may not even like getting out of bed, much less participating in daily activities. As you become aware that you are in charge of your own self, physical, mental, and emotional, and your outcomes, you can focus on something better. It's the place to stop there and talk about that.
You want to stop there and talk about that?
Yeah,
Let's do it. Yeah.
So we talk about, so that actually does resonate for me, because seasons of life change consistently.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when we're changing our seasons, we don't even realize it's happening. Mm-hmm. And we're not like, it's not consciously happening because we want it to. It's happening because we're evolving as people, and life evolves and things change. Mm-hmm. And so from that standpoint, having a baseline energy of, we talk about a lot, foundational baseline energy of just joy could be difficult, because you're hopping from these moments in life that are profoundly different, right? Or defined by profoundly different instances, experiences, moments, relationships, emotions. And so you're moving through this kind of this whole sphere of experiences, and you're supposed to retain this energy of joy, as you said. So, and it can't be easy unless you have a foundation of faith, or a foundation of people in your life that matter enough to be able to, or present enough and positive enough to be able to bring that level of positivity. Mm-hmm. That makes sense?
Totally makes sense.
That's what our tribe is for.
That's what our tribe is for, says Anne. So true. Right. And also, if every time, the only joy that you have, good morning, the only joy that you're finding is just in those moments, right? If it has to be a celebratory event, or like what was the list here that they gave us?
Winning a championship.
Though that's funny, huh?
Right.
My husband was an athlete, so that's funny. You totally speak to a wedding. We just had one in April, right? And then a family member graduating, or a new family member, like we just had a few months ago in our family with the new our new great nephew. When you have those moments, yeah, that's joyful. But what happens when these moments, these big moments, aren't happening? What happens on the day to day? Where is that joy coming from if it's not being fed from something external, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's the issue, is when everybody's looking for it out here and trying to find it from the next great thing, right? It needs to come from in here. Yeah. We need to find it in the moments when I'm by myself. Right. I find great joy when I'm with you. Like I'll tell him sometimes we're hanging out and I'm like, it feels like Christmas. He makes me just feel so full of joy, right? But what happens when he's gone? Can I do that by myself? Is it coming from out here or in here? Because if it's all out here, can't control any of that. Now I just bounce around at the whims of whatever's happening out here. But if it's inside of me, and how many people do we know of that have been in horrible, horrible situations for a very long time, prisoners of war, there's a lot of Jewish accounts, that they were able to still find joy in those horrible, horrible situations. That's not coming from external, obviously. It's coming from inside.
She talks a lot about, we'll let you
yeah,
question, but my wife talks a lot about this idea of being in the present, and so I think, for me, it's like I had these wonderful euphoric moments that are positioned in the kind of forefront of my emotional connection, because they were joyful, right? They were moments that I experienced with teammates or travel or opportunities that came through things that I've been subjected to or exposed to in my life. And coming out of that, and happens for a lot of athletes, right? They experience that high adrenaline. It's like,
Right.
okay, what they fall into depression. They fall into, I'm way removed now, but they fall into this space of like, okay, what's next and what's going to define me? Because they felt defined by this sport they were playing that gave them the opportunity to feel, successful or seen or heard or important. And so, yeah, joy is definitely something that we need to find in intrinsically, and the joy of having the opportunity just to breathe, the moment, as you mentioned. Yeah,
Exactly. I love it. And
Yeah, I was just thinking about, you talk about getting to the next thing, whatever that next thing is that you're waiting for. Eventually, waiting until this happens and then I'll be happy. Waiting until this happens and then I'll be happy.
right.
Yeah.
When my shift comes in.
right, that's a classic.
And that
term.
just reminds me of just what you have said recently and what Peter was just saying, that you're not in the present moment when you're sitting and waiting for something to happen that's going to change your mindset. You don't need that something to happen. We just need to choose that in this moment I'm going to be in this space and not that one. I'm going to be in the space of hope and acceptance and not be in fear and worry. But it's so important. We wish our lives away. I can't wait till I'm a teenager. I can't wait till I have my driver's license. I can't wait till I'm 21. I can't wait till I get Medicare.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody hopes for that, but
Oh my God.
but I think it's so
But you're right.
It's so important because being in the present moment is where all the power is. And if we're busy waiting for something, we're missing what's happening now.
Exactly. So
Well said.
good. So good. And that's what you're saying. Everybody is relating because you've heard that so many times from everybody. I can't wait till this. Even parents will say, "Oh, I can't wait till they crawl." Well, or they walk, or they run, or they do this. They talk about their little babies. I can't wait till this. And me having an older son and then having another batch later, I would tell the parents when I was raising kids with that second batch, I'd be like, no, stop saying that. Stop saying that. My guy who used to be this is now 15, and now today he's 32. So like I savored the younger three because I learned from that mistake of can't wait till he's no, stop that. Slow it down, like savor every single second because it goes so fast. And now they're adults, and now they're all teenagers now, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have any little people anymore. They're all like this, running around looking like adults with the mustaches and stuff.
Right? That way now.
Right? But something you said made me think, we'll get back to the reading in a minute, but when you're talking about, this is something that I never thought of before until you said it, and you said it a while ago. So being present and letting the joy come from inside of you is where it needs to be. It needs to be here. That takes work, and you need to be consciously aware of that. And it only happens in the present moment. Right. But the other thing too, where you alluded to that a little bit, was being an athlete, for example, and that's what you are. I'm a basketball player, right? That's like your thing. And then now you're no longer that basketball player. What are you?
But remember, I always say that to people.
That's what I was telling you.
When they come up to me in my everyday life in the last how many years? Oh, he's a basketball player. I'm like, I haven't touched a basketball in 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. What do you define that? And that used to bother me because my background
right.
and education.
Well, tell them so that they.
Yeah, no,
Because
just because I come
a
from a
piece of
background
it.
of academia and a
Right.
background of substance around, character, knowledge, opportunity to express oneself in kind of this intellectual space, I guess. And so then always to be defined as something that to me is not, wasn't an accomplishment. It was something I was kind of pushed to do because I was 6'7", had a 46-inch vertical, and you know what I mean, was athletically gifted.
Yes, right.
But it was, so I did it, right?
But you wanted to be a what?
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
So
You can hear it in him, can't you? He's very,
But anyway, so that being said, I feel like we kind of sometimes we're defined by things that we don't control. We can't control that definite
because it's out here.
That's
That's the problem, because it's out here. And so then when that's taken away, if I'm happy because I'm a basketball player and what goes with that makes me happy, or I'm happy because I'm a mom and then all my kids are now off to college and I'm an empty nester, or I'm happy, like there's a problem. That's an issue.
Well, it's
right.
I would imagine that it's something that every single human deals with.
Because I think lack of that awareness around where should it be coming from.
Some people deal with it better than others, but we're defined by our ecosystems, being a mother, being a good mother, being a good housewife, all the hats that people wear, define who we are. So it's nothing, but somewhere in there is an opportunity to find, I don't know if it's just the energy at which one, because some people just have it naturally, right? As I talked about baseline energy. Some people's baseline energy, baseline vibrations just translate to being authentically themselves, and that authentic self might be joyful. Right. Just as a natural
default.
thing.
You default
to that, right? Yes. But some people default to misery and sadness and depression. And others default to extreme joy, right? Over euphoria, whatever that looks like. It's just, I think it's just chemical wiring and experience too. Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what everybody
has been through
and what their parent, like my mother would always say things to me that I think made me who I am today about like, well, put yourself in their shoes. Why do you think that happened? Do you think that had anything to do with you? Like why did, or reversing that, why do you think you did that, Michelle? What made you, what were your thinkings before you did this? So like just that self-awareness, I think is so important. And I think there are so many people still today who don't have that.
Right.
And they're running around and it's like, they're going to work and they're coming home and they're going watching football and they're just following some kind of programming and they just don't have the awareness. So when something out here isn't working out well, they have no awareness about what's happening on the inside, and where that the real joy and love and peace and all that really truly is already there, and it already is.
Being able to be okay with yourself, right?
Right. So when you take off all these different hats, what's left? I think that's a great practice, is writing down. I think we talked about this before, but I can't remember who originally did this with me because it's not my original thought, but probably Reverend Dr. Michelle probably. But taking off all the hats. So writing down all your hats, every single thing you can think of. And when you do that, you'll freak out because you think, oh, I'm this job, I'm this. But when you actually start to list everything and then someone goes, oh yeah, what about this? Oh, I have that one too. Oh my gosh. You have like so many things you put on top of yourself your whole life. And now it's like, no wonder why you can't figure out where you are, the truth of you.
Right.
Because you're buried under like, I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a, a friend, I'm a sister, it goes on forever.
Right.
But if you could like, look at that, all the labels that you've given yourself and get rid of them and be like, who am I without all of that?
Right.
What am I? Right. And when you get to that, knowing that you are God and you are a spiritual being having a human experience, the game changes.
This is one of the most prevalent questions I have consistently is how do you help these kids that are now, emotionally, I think these kids don't want, a lot of these kids that I'm seeing on social media that are trying to express themselves and doing these, I don't know if they'll ever experience what joy looks like because the way in which they're being raised now, and I don't hear anybody on social media talking about even just simple kind of religious constructs like Jesus Christ, even if you don't believe in that, this idea of faith and accountability and things like that. I feel like it may sound doom and gloom, but the idea of joy is just like, it's a concept a lot of these kids don't even understand, will never understand, because they're living in this superficial instant gratification. And I mean, you hear them talking about relationships, what they want in a partner. None of that. They never say, I want someone to love me for me, or I want to love someone with my purest heart and be be honorable to that person. They all want stuff. They all want this person to have this, and I want to have this. I want to be able to do this. It's gonna look like that. I mean, and I get it, but at some point, I struggle to understand where they're going to find joy, the purest in its purest form. Now, I'm not talking about existential.
Right. It's all, they're also just,
Where are they seeing
it's
it?
all just external world.
Right.
Just external world.
And there's parents our age that are like
Right.
struggling with that right now. It's like they're trying to define these things for these kids, and the kids will be like, "You don't shut up, you don't know what we're talking about," because to them, it's like the Bitcoin phenomenon, isn't it? You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing. They
and
created a whole new reality for themselves.
right. Exactly.
That's scary to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you have a comment? I thought I saw somebody. No? Okay. Do you want me to read this part?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, all right, we're halfway down where it says first recognize and trust the truth within. Remember to be in complete oneness with all the power there is and all the life there is. This power that created the universe and heavens is also within you. You can claim that power and presence as it guides your inner being back to equilibrium, your center. Then keep saying your positive affirmations throughout your day. Silence, prayer, and visualizing your joy will consume your thoughts and raise your outcome. Just like participating in the first breath of spring, you can instantly align with joy. After all, it is our attitude toward life that brings us joy in living. And then at the bottom, here are some. She gives the following affirmations, and we borrowed our affirmation from this. In this moment, I am filled with joy. I smile, I laugh, and I continually find reasons to share the joy of life. My spirit of joy uplifts everyone around me. Thank you, Reverend Susan Carol Dexter, Interfaith and Religious Science in New Berlin, Wisconsin. We appreciate you in this reading today. It's just perfect.
I just thought about that. So I've, growing up at home, again, the baseline energy around my parents was a lot of, Nigerian parents, African parents, with a lot of stress and direction, and you got to do this and you shouldn't do that. Leave something on the floor, pick it. It was always, and it wasn't, horrible, but it was, intense enough.
Right.
So I remember all that, right? And then I remember looking at my parents and thinking, if I ever saw my mom like happy or like joyous at any moments, and when she was, it was when she was feeding the family. But for the most part, I swear I was like a 6-7-year-old kid. I was thinking like, I don't know if I ever see my mom just happy around the house. That's a strange thought for a child.
Yeah.
And even my dad, I mean, because they both made each other miserable in a way. I know it's horrible. He did. They both made each other miserable. He would sit off, and I didn't see him laughing at the TV, or he just had his moments where he wanted peace, right? So the joy. So then I'm thinking about that as a child, right? And I'm modeling or watching these behaviors, and how do you? That's kind of like the. I found my joy in my own way, right? But it's kind of like the blueprint for a lot of families is that. And so again, it's like this stuff is so good because it actually is making you create exercises to be able to grab that joy from somewhere somehow, or at least program yourself to feel it as a baseline vibration, right? To go back to that, because I don't know where else I would learn to feel. Does that make sense? Even with the Catholic Church, we go to church. It was a joyous service. It was somber. It was like I was like, what?
Guilt.
Right, filled with guilt, and you got to do all this. And it's like everything was based on
Guilt-based.
right. There was no joy associated with it. So even with that faith as a baseline vibration, there was no joy. So it's almost like you have to have a class in middle school, in elementary school for these kids to know what does joy look like.
That's what grandparents are for.
Sure.
And aunties.
Sure.
Grandparents and aunties, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. It's very, very interesting because we expect these things just to be in us. And it's like if your environment's all horrible, where the bloody hell are you finding it?
Right, and it is in us. We're just putting stuff on top of it. Or when you're a child
Right.
and you're recognizing this stuff, I mean, you don't know emotionally. You're not emotionally old enough to go, oh, my mother's just got a lot of
Right,
stress right
right.
now, and so you're just like, this is not happy.
Right.
This does not feel
You think
this.
that's
Let
normal.
me protect myself.
Right.
Let me
Right.
I feel happy, but let me cover that up
The only-
because I don't want to.
The only way I swear to God, the only way I realized that like parents weren't all miserable was because I went to my friend's house.
Oh, yeah.
This kid named 29, an Asian kid. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I used to go to his house, and his parents were always happy.
You think what you're experiencing is
Right, they
normal.
were always happy, talking, laughing, cooking, and they're like, "Oh, what do you guys?" Dad came out, so I was about to do an Asian accent.
So he speaks multiple languages. So
Right.
he flips into all the accents.
So the dad was about to. Dad would come out and play soccer with us. It's like I was like, okay, well, this is a different look, right? That was joy. So that was somewhere where that was just interesting. It just popped in my head, by the way.
And then children, so in that mindset, the children bring joy
Right.
and share joy. Where in the Nigerian mindset, they come from a tough place.
Right. Right.
Where if you probably are like that, you're not going to survive
Right,
probably.
right.
So then you have your own children. Now you try to instill that because you
Right.
just want. So it's not like trying to be harmful on purpose.
Right. Not at all.
It's just unfortunately.
There is joy in the Nigerian culture. Don't get me wrong.
Yes,
There's a lot of it.
but in
And
the
it's-
home life,
right, home life, it's
that
like
can be hard.
right. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right. So if parents or people aren't having some awarenesses around where that joy really comes from,
Right.
then and they're looking for it externally, and the external situation isn't showing it, like it's not
Right.
reflecting that back, then it's going to be hard to do.
But
So like you're saying, if the people around like kids or somebody, if they're not feeling joy, maybe they won't even learn how to feel joy,
right.
what it is.
Right.
If
Right.
there's nobody modeling it or
Right.
helping them.
It's very yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because most people, there's a lot of even adults today of all ages that have no clue what they really are. They're just running around here thinking life happens to them and woe is me and it's awful and I'm just trying to get mine and whatever. They have no idea the truth that's at our core, that we are God in human expression, right? And that we have all those same gifts and abilities to create a life we love and to help each other do that.
Right.
They have no clue because no one ever told them the truth.
So I'm going to give you something. You are going to experience. You already do experience lots of joy. It's because there's people around you modeling it. I can see it in your energy, in your eyes, and the way you present yourself. That's so important. Don't ever let go of that. And the fact you asked that question or even make that statement is even more of a beautiful thing. Right? It's like you've got
She's
it.
always trying to understand.
Right, you've already got an understanding of it. This is helping you to understand what that looks like. Just being here simply and listening to the conversation. That's all. Sometimes I think that's all. I worry about kids more than anything else. You know, I had kids overnight. One of the largest youth sports organizations in the Valley, and worked with so many kids and families. I worried about each one like they're my own.
Right.
And yeah, I worry about that. Like I see kids come in and you see them, their baseline vibration is sadness. It's like what the, and in my mind, I'm like, we got to find out what's going on in that home because it was like, that's where it starts. That's what, that was the solution was the parents. But a lot of times they didn't even know what they were inflicting their kids with.
No.
So these kind of conversations, I think, are really important, right? So important for them to
I
hear.
agree with that. When I used to life coach, sometimes I would get the teenager, the parent would come, oh, my teenager is XYZ and I needs to work with you. And my mind's going, I actually need to work with you, but I'll take your child and try to get to you through the child.
Right.
And if I couldn't get it to go upline, I would just help that child build skill sets to deal with their own emotions and what they were going through. But it's coming from whoever is the head of that household.
Right.
The parental head of the household is instilling that into their children.
Right.
And then they need to then grow up and figure it, hopefully come across somebody who can help them see the truth. And then they start to work on the changes themselves.
Right.
But we only can do what we know. If we don't have that awareness,
Right.
what can we do? So I think you're right. Getting the awareness out, trying to get more of us, all of us that know what the truth is, modeling that more, sharing that more, speaking
Teachings like this,
teaching
yeah,
so
yeah.
that people can say, wait a minute, what?
What?
That's supposed to come from me? hold on a minute.
But
If I'm in charge of this, I'm in charge of my experience is like this because I'm deciding. Hold on. That's scary and awesome at the
Right,
same time.
right.
Like, wait.
I can remember, let's see, Kaylee must have been about maybe 20.
So Kaylee's your daughter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she went through a foundations class with
Yeah.
Reverend Michelle Whittington.
Uh-huh.
And during the course of that, she got a job that she liked. Someone that she was interested in became her boyfriend. And I talked to her about the fact that it was really important that she acknowledged that she was in charge of that, so that she recognizes that she's able to manifest those things, that she can create those things. And her response was, well, if I take credit for that, then I have to take credit for the crap
Bingo.
too. And my comment was, exactly, you're in charge.
Right.
It's so true. So it is when you first learn that, get that awareness, it can be a little scary because then if you don't like things, you're going, oh, so I created that also. But I think the beauty of that is to finally recognize, like, oh, wait a minute, I created that. Therefore, I can create something else just by shifting my mindset and what I want to think about. I can change the whole thing. And like we've talked about, like we still have to walk through what we have created up until now, but we can change course at any time. We can choose different. We can choose a different thought at any moment. And I think that's so powerful and exciting, along with it's a little bit scary at first to go, oh, wait, what? This is on me.
Right.
It's all on me.
I think most of the world struggles with being like we all project in some way, right?
Right.
And so the idea of accountability is scary to some people because, I mean, as you just said, it's all on me. What did I do to contribute to that outcome, which perhaps wasn't as favorable as I wanted it to be?
Yeah.
We're quick to, even especially in sports, we're quick to take credit. If I score 25 points, we win, and I would walk up, man, that was me. But then you lose, and then you miss a couple of free throws, miss a couple of rebounds, assignments. You'd be like, man, y'all just play good. You know what I mean? Like you're not even thinking about that because you're thinking of looking to find blame. Oh, Kevin didn't have his usual 10 rebounds, or this guy didn't use to. It becomes we and using that as a metaphor for we want everybody wants to feel good and lauded and celebrated. But then, the moment it comes down to being accountable for one's actions, it can be challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, I make an effort actually to try to put.
I think you're really good about that.
Back to because I want to. But that comes from sports background.
But it's weird to me because, like, I don't know about you guys, but have you ever been in relationships? Well, if you've been in a relationship, when you have to talk about something, the other person oftentimes it's difficult, right? And it's so weird to me. Like, I love it, but it's so weird when people are like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry about that. And I'm like, wait, what? Hold on a minute. Wait, what? Like, he's so sweet about wanting to show up in a certain way and owning his piece of it. And then it's just amazing.
But it just will drive.
But I don't even know sometimes I don't even know how you do that.
No, but so this is the way I look at the idea. We're talking about joy and the kind of extension of where we can find moments to, even in moments of conflict, there's no need to go to the extremes to be right or to establish your dominance or to tell. I don't know where that gets you. If you love somebody, you should be trying to avoid those extremes.
Right.
You try to meet in the middle and find somewhere where you can connect on details, right? And at least admit the fact that you might have done something to cause something. That's a great place to start. Whether it was triggered or caused, you still did it. You know what I mean? Like I still did what I did or whatever. So I think and that happens only with time, doesn't it? In life.
It's not easy to do.
We're about to get into relationship counseling here, but if you're
having one, you should,
it should evolve because you can't just be. Again, there's certain things you just should never do.
Yeah.
And so the joy you find from being able to have the joy I find from having those conversations and being able to just try to be better and even wanting to be better, there's joy in that. The idea of wanting to be better, not just wanting to be, the same person, or even in a relationship. I wanted to get stronger.
Yeah.
We're still in the inception, in the early stages of our
We're still
marriage.
newlyweds.
We're still technically almost a year, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So yeah, good.
But I feel like we find a lot of joy in each other in our relationship. But I think that's, I know that it comes from inside. So as we allow that to show up and happen.
Right.
And then what's so cool about the more that we, like when I feel that with you, when I recognize that feeling is coming up for me, like I relish in it. I like want to sit in that as long as I can. I recognize, so I can conjure that up at any time.
Right.
At any time. If I'm having a bad moment, when we do the heart math meditation, those of you who have been through the heart math meditation, there's a moment where it says to hold something in your mind that gives you makes you feel gratitude, love, joy. And I'll immediately go to him or my kids. And the kids, I go to their smile. Like I can pull up any one of my kids' smile and I will immediately be filled with that feeling, right?
Wow.
And with you, it's just your presence. Like I can imagine being just with you and I feel it immediately, like Christmas. It feels like Christmas, that feeling of Christmas. And she's explaining, I don't think she's so crazy anymore. We'd be sitting there and I'm joking. We'd have a moment what could be translated as negative and she'd find joy somewhere and you'd see her energy I see her energy kind of pop up or prop up or go up. And I'm like, that's a talent. Because when we have a choice in that moment to be like, oh, but she always tries to take herself somewhere. You'll say something or it'll just pep up. Yeah. That's impressive. Well, and because, you okay? Well, because I don't want to be attracting from that lower energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Came in my head and went right back out. I think that the critical part of that is that you can exude that joy. And I mean, just those moments, you were saying how it would be like you could go down negative, but she finds joy. I think there's something really powerful about being able to, with anyone you're in a relationship, whether it's a friend or, a housemate or whatever, when you have a difficult conversation and both people participate in a way that shows the love in the relationship. To me, there's something really joyful about being able to talk to somebody about something that bothers me and have them hear it. And they don't necessarily need to claim it,
right,
but to at least understand that that's how I was triggered.
Yeah.
Inadvertent or not, it's not on them, but there's something powerful about being able to have those conversations where you could go negative,
right,
instead of let's honor the relationship and each other.
Oh yeah, I love that. And that's something that he really brings to the table and helps me with. Yeah.
I work with teenagers.
Oh.
My job is working with teenagers.
God bless you.
And the one girl was talking about her parents didn't care about her. And I looked at her and I said, do you let them care about you?
Mm.
And she burst into tears. She said, no, I don't.
Oh.
And I said, could you let them care about you? I'm going to try that tonight.
Wow.
So that's so good.
A lot of times they just don't know what to do. And the parents are trying, but the kids don't know how to do
That's
that.
deep.
Wow, I love that. That could have been an Instagram reel right there.
Let them care about you.
I'm going to film you in a minute.
Yes,
I want to post that. That's
exactly the same thing.
Wow.
But
like, are you letting them, anybody? That could be not even just,
Any of us.
I don't feel connected to anybody. Nobody cares about me. Are you letting them care for you though?
Right.
Are you letting them? That's
deep.
So you hold that. Hang on to that. We're going to grab you later. I love that.
Yep.
Wow. That's
let yourself be loved.
Yeah.
She loves me. Like, that's one thing I love about being around her. She loves me. Like, it's like, and I know she loves me. And I let myself be loved by her. I've never let myself be loved by anybody else before like that because I didn't, it's machismo, whatever it is. Whatever it is that you need to break through in a man to be able to get to that point where, let yourself feel that joy. Let yourself give. I think we're having a breakthrough here. Good job. Let yourself receive it wherever it's coming from. I told you what my friend Faith said. He said love people that love you. Stop chasing people that don't care about you.
Exactly.
like
Right, and you get all of us too.
Right,
Whether you
right.
like it or not.
right. It's like I'm talking about kind of hyperbolic here, but yeah, in life, if people are giving you an opportunity,
trying
they're
to-
trying
they're
to
trying
pull
to-
you in, trying
Yeah.
to give you something extra, take it, you know,
Yeah.
because they're obviously expressing something. It doesn't come all the time, you know.
It's practice.
It takes, but it doesn't come all. You know, people aren't just giving that type of energy all the time.
Yeah.
If they're giving it to you, take it. Let them love you. I like that. Yeah, let them,
I love that
it's
too.
awesome.
Yeah, like I've told, not you, but your Trey, I've told Trey many times, the reason why I'm on you is because I care. I'm questioning and I'm asking because I care where you were, what you were doing, what's going on.
Yeah.
So you're annoyed, but I care. That's my job to do that.
Right,
It's also
You
your
know?
job to annoy him.
That's right. It's on purpose.
right.
But that is they get annoyed by that and then they want to shut that off. And it's like, but that's the caring. If people don't care, they don't ask. They just, whatever, go do whatever. Nobody cares, right? Like, no, you want somebody that's going to kind of, care what's going on. But I love that. And I love the thinking around, conjuring up that joy. So when you're thinking about things that bring you joy, it might even be, if you recognize that there are times where you slump down and you have a hard time coming out of it, I do find joy, and I do find that's my natural state of being, but I don't spiritually bypass. And sometimes it takes me a little bit longer than others to pull back out of it because whatever is on me is upsetting me. But I work through it. I don't just go shove it over here and I'm going to now have this pretend joy over here or whatever. I literally will move through all of whatever that yuck is, and at the same time countering it. So oftentimes that's coming from telling ourselves things that aren't really even true.
Right.
We're not present when we're feeling like that. And I have enough awareness to know that that's the truth. But in the moment, boy, it feels really real.
Right.
And it feels like it's all happening to me, even though I know that I'm causing this because of my own thinking about whatever it is.
Right.
So it takes a while for me to unravel that programming and be able to eventually come back to like, okay, so here's what's actually happening. And yes, you did X, Y, Z. And so now these are the results. And now we need to course correct and make a different result. And then I start to go, oh, okay, all right. I'm going to deal with what's happening right now, but I don't have to stay here and I don't have to create it again. And I don't have to do it again. I can make a different decision and move in a different way to where I create something else. And that starts to makes me hopeful,
Right.
which leads to joy and other things when I start to figure out that I can move differently now. That result was not what I liked. So I don't want to stay there.
Can someone quantify the idea of, and I'm actually really asking a question for you wiser folk out there, the idea of stubbornness. They'll quantify it. Like, what is it? Like, why do people,
Resistance, fear.
but what is it?
Hang
But what is, that's telling people what it is. But where does it come from? Why? Like,
We're safe in what we already know, and
right.
changing things can be
Even-
unsafe.
Even if what we're doing is damaging, right? That stubbornness is that the thing we're stubborn on, we still resist it, right? Because go ahead, continue what you're saying.
I was just saying that it's safety. Oftentimes that when we know something, whether it's good or not so
Right.
good, it's safe.
Right.
And so when someone or within ourselves, we want to change things, we aren't safe.
Right.
And we become stubborn or resistant to
Right.
that change, I think.
Interesting.
Right. The fear of the unknown. What happens if I do that, or let you do that, or let?
No, I asked that. Yeah, I asked that, Odie, because I feel like that's the quintessential blocker to joy. Like that's surely not the antithesis, but it's because it's not stubbornness. I think is a kind of a reaction, isn't it? Or it's a
Protective mechanism, maybe.
protective mechanism. But people that are stubborn, I believe, are less likely to experience joy because, and I'm not saying, I'm talking about consistently stubborn on things that don't make any bloody sense. Like, okay, what is it? Like, what are we doing? And those people, and I wonder if there's, again, with my mind never wanting to fix things, or my we wanting to see if there's remedies, because the world could be so much of a better place if these remedies were consistently
If this is
in
the
our
message,
lives, right?
This
If
is the
this is the
messaging instead
messaging,
of the other messaging.
right? Because it's like, I don't know. So yeah, how do you counter that stubbornness consistently for someone, or how do you help someone counter that stubbornness to get to joy?
Well, would you say, joy is a present moment emotion. I mean, joy is a present moment. I don't think you can have joy in future thinking and past thinking. I think it comes from present thinking. Just like love and peace and all of that comes from when you're actually in the present moment with what's actually happening.
Sure.
Stubbornness is coming from, if it's fear, then it's coming from future thinking. So I'm holding my ground because I'm afraid of what's going to
Sure.
happen if I don't. So you're not being present. You're not in the present moment saying, well, what's actually happening? What move do I want to make from here? What would I like to happen now? And then what should I do? Instead, you're like protecting yourself from whatever outcome
right.
you think is going to happen. So you're projecting future thoughts, which will never bring joy because they're not in the present moment.
Scary.
But a lot of us don't live in the present moment.
Right.
So when you're dealing with other people, if you've ever read Real Love by Greg Bear, it talks all about this. When you're dealing with people that are lying, throwing temper tantrums, what are some other things? Doing any protective behavior, they're not present. They're in a protective behavior mode. They're protecting themselves against not feeling the love, joy, peace. They're protecting themselves. They're so afraid they won't feel it that they protect themselves from feeling it. And they're sitting in the future being afraid of not feeling it. So they just sit with it. It's like this vicious cycle.
Right. I imagine stubbornness could also come from and stubbornness could be called different things, but it can also come from this idea, or that if we've been hurt, and then so
from
we've
your past thinking.
Right. We've given someone all of ourselves in some way, and then it doesn't go the way that we thought it 100% should, and then from there we become stubborn in our emotion. We won't extend that to anybody else anymore. We won't give people the opportunity to feel that with you anymore, because you're like, I'm protecting my feelings, I'm protecting my emotions.
I know what happened last time.
Right.
The last time I let somebody in, this is what happened. So no, not letting you in.
Right. And if we could grasp this idea that, and this is what thing we talk about, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a story here. I playing sports, going to private school in England, playing sports, I was always in a bubble. And outside of that, like most of my human contact was in, when I was going in the store to buy something, training with other guys that I trained with, and hanging out with my friends or my significant other. That's it. So I wasn't given opportunities to have even random encounters with folks like yourself, because I was in a bubble. In a church. I didn't go to, it wasn't in a church. I wasn't in a group or a community group. Wasn't doing any of those things. So I had this. I once said to somebody, I said, I can't wait till I retire from playing professional basketball, because I'm tired of these snakes in the basketball world, the agents, the whatever, and who were just doing their job. And this person looked at me and said, no, you should stay right where you are as long as you can, because there's way more snakes out there in the real world. You have no clue. And so one of the things I got, that has been enlightening for me, not negative, but still enlightening, is I've had more human contact in this last 10, 14 years of my life, even the last year, actually, just with what I'm doing, to be able to learn new people. And I'm like, and it's humbled me, because I'm like, everybody's just different. Everybody's experiences are different. I might see this one way, and some person could see it completely different. And who am I to sit there and say you're wrong?
Right.
This is the world we live in right now. Is we're all telling each other we're wrong based on our subset of experiences. I dare to tell you you're wrong, because you don't feel the same way as I do.
Yep.
And one of the things, that's what's been most enlightening to me, is like, we all have these kind of mumbo jumbo experiences, and it's difficult for us to get people to see our point of view for a reason, because most people don't have the baseline of even just the understanding we're talking about here, how to get to joy, how to get over stubbornness, what it is I'm really holding on to, why I'm so angry. You see people doing things and you're like, why would that person needs to be put down? No, that's what we say that with like that, but we don't understand what that person's been through.
Right.
We have no empathy anymore as a society.
No grace.
No grace.
I always say, give yourself and everyone else some grace.
Right. People are just different. It's a beautiful thing.
We're all navigating this human experience.
Right.
And it's not
in
easy.
our own way. Right.
It's
No
not
manual.
easy.
There isn't.
And if you haven't had any understanding about who you really are, and you just think it's just that, man, I'm glad I have a lot of awareness around what's really going, how it really works, because I would hate to just think I'm a victim to whatever happens to me. My life's by default. That would be
The best thing for me
awful.
is just people, even with just people and the way that they operate, the things that they and learning, and I think there needs to be more of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we talk about it a lot. The media doesn't help
No.
because they do things for they're pushing negativity now as a product.
Yeah.
It's
They
a
like
product
keeping us-
that they're pushing negativity as it's a standard. That's their baseline vibration is negativity.
Yeah.
And it's working. It's dissipating into all of our lives, and so forums like this, however large or small, have to exist.
Yeah.
There has to be opportunities for people to.
And of course, we want to grow bigger, but at the same time, just affecting one person, just even these two young people here, just that they have a different awareness. They're hearing different things and they're learning different things. Imagine all of us understanding this at their age.
Right.
Imagine having the understanding about you're creating your experience by your thoughts and then moving through your life, like different choices, right? Different decisions. Maybe the same decisions of what you do, but a different way to look at them,
Right.
how it affects you. It's very interesting to me.
It is.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation.
It's so good. Does anybody have anything else to add? Anything coming up for anybody? No?
It's awesome.
Anything else, Love?
I mean, the idea of being hyper conscious and almost exaggerating the opportunities to try to find joy. I think it's something that's not a negative thing, because we're so easy to latch on to negative things, but intentionally looking for ways to find joy and going to grab it wherever you can is a great exercise, and whatever that looks like for you, for individuals out here, find it, because it's easy to get stuck into. She brings me joy, of course, and we have relatively similar views of each other, but not everybody has the opportunity to have someone in their lives like that, unfortunately. And I feel blessed. So that's like talk about it all the time. But yeah, find joy, find it where you can.
Right. And you can conjure that up at any time. Something that brings you joy. There's something there. So if you're not experiencing it right now, or life doesn't feel joyous, not saying the exterior has to align. The exterior might not be wonderful and joyous right now. There's a lot of people in this world who are not having a beautiful experience. But if you can find something, even the smile of a child or the playing with a puppy or somebody that in your life that meant something to you or means something to you, if they're still on the planet, just take some time to just step away from whatever is happening out here that may not be aligning with joy, and go relish in some joy.
Right.
Go sit in some joy. You can make that happen.
If Nelson Mandela could be locked up for 25 years, whatever it is, some of that in solitary confinement,
Yes.
and he said he came out and still had joy. Like, that was crazy. I'm like, okay, we're over here.
We're over here whining because
this guy was
this guy cut me off, or
right.
I didn't kill.
Right, this guy, phenomenal. That was the most,
Yes.
even as a kid when he came out, because you always used to hear, free Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
We always used to hear that, and he came out, and I'm like, he's gonna be mad. I'm a kid. I'm thinking that he's gonna be angry,
Yes.
and he came out. He was joy. He was all positive. I'm like, what the bloody goodness?
Yes.
Amazing.
And he chooses that.
Right, he
He
chose
chooses that. He had every excuse in the book to be not happy, right? To not have joy. He has every reason to say, my life's awful. I've lost all this time, and blah, blah, blah. He could have done that, and everybody would have been justified. That's justified, right? But what would that have done? Not what we really want to be experiencing. So the power is ours. Let's use our power for good and joy. How about that?
Right.
All right. I'm going to pray us out,
Good
and
stuff.
then we'll make some closing remarks. In this moment, let's feel joy. Bring into your mind something that makes you smile on the inside, something that lights up your heart. Breathe that in, let it glow, let it grow. Feel it, see it, getting bigger, filling up your whole body. See the light expand beyond you. The joy is immense. The feeling is so powerful. This is our truth. We are made of this. We are this joy. We are this feeling, ever present, always there. We need only allow it. We need only let it be. Let it be our choice to feel it, to express it, to let it grow, overflowing out into the world, affecting everyone around us, creating ripple effects through all of the universe. This is a superpower we have. We are innately gifted with this power. And I challenge all of us to use it as often as we can think of it. Use it for good. I'm so grateful. I am grateful for our gifts, who we are, and whose we are. And I'm grateful for our time together. I'm grateful for everyone here and everyone hearing my voice and beyond. I'm so glad we're all doing this together. And so I let this moment go. I know it's finally guided and so blessed. And together we say, and so it is. Oh, this was awesome.
It was good.
I love
It
you
was
being with us.
How can
Yeah.
we support you?
Wow. Oh, the ministry. Yes. That's for the ministry. No, I'm just kidding. You know, we so much love doing what we do up here on the sofa. And if you've been blessed by what we do, if you love what we do and you'd like to see more of it, we would love to have you support us. And there's multiple ways you can support us. You can share our live feed on YouTube. You can subscribe to YouTube. If we get to a certain number of subscriptions, we get more, they share us more widely and we get more exposure. Thank you. So we love that. If you see us on any of the social media feeds, please share, comment, invite visitors to see us. Let them know that what you watch, that you're watching this, let them join you, bring them here. Come here with your friends and spend some time with us in person. We'd love to hug you and see you in person. If you would love to support us financially, you can go to our website at beginwithinministries.com. And if you scroll down, there's a place where you can do a one-time offering. But we would love more spiritual church club partners. And that's a monthly donation of $45 a month for an individual or $75 a month for a family or a couple. And so if you love what we're doing here, please think of supporting our ministry and becoming a partner with us. We'd love to expand this and be doing this everywhere. So thank you so much for your time with us this morning. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you so much, honey, for all your insights. We appreciate you. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Time, or Monday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. In partnership with New Thought Media Network.